Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wrestling News Weekly. And Jesus, Myron, what a week it was this week.
Man, I'm still so stoked. I mean, I got excited and even couldn't sleep Thanksgiving night knowing just a little bit of what we were getting into. I had no idea how awesome it was going to be at Wrestlecade.
It was crazy. Well, first and foremost, let's tell the world who we are, because, you know, we always forget there's first-time listeners, so I am, of course,
I'm Paul
Nick.
Harvey, and that's the rest of the story.
Yeah, well, I'm Nick. This is my buddy Myron.
I'm actually Myron. I'm Myron from the Tapped Out Pod. I'm not going to go into some of the things we've got going on with Jumping Jim McDougall, but I actually did a couple of photo shoots over the weekend in my ninja gear. Nick has not released those yet because Jim kind of disappeared. And so when you come back, Jim, whenever you are, wherever you've gone, I've got photographic evidence of my ninja work right there. So we'll see. You will see if you got it. I did one photo shoot over the weekend preparing ourselves for Wrestlecade. We were so busy that I couldn't get much more done. But man, what an amazing weekend was Wrestlecade. And I want to, what's that perk place we ate at right there that was so good? If you ever go up to Winston-Salem, I would suggest that.
I think the perk, I know it was like one of those little cafes. It's right there on the corner.
It was like a bodega with a cafe right there in the corner, right down past the hotel.
Yeah, I think it's on the corner of Cherry, and because the Marriott's right there on 5th and Cherry, but on the backside, I'm assuming that would be Cherry and 6th. There's right there on the corner. Yeah, it was a little, like I said, man, it's really cool. We hit breakfast there pretty much every day that we were there.
You could get beer, and you could get a reasonably priced breakfast and delicious coffee.
Yeah, and that pizza place right back there on the back of on 6th Street was pretty good too. Yes. So
I tagged myself in there on that. So if you follow me on Twitter and Facebook, you can find the name of the pizza place. I think it was Twin City Slice or something like that.
That's actually what it was.
Sorry for my lack of promotion on our preparation on this, folks, but I was having so much fun I didn't write stuff down.
Well, they didn't pay us, so we're not gonna, you don't
want to get in too far on it.
But so let's get into the meat of it, man. It was a long Wrestlecade weekend. First and foremost, we're going to tell everybody, if you've never done a Wrestlecade, when it gets announced for 2018, go ahead and get your tickets and get booked, because I mean it was worth the price of admission, and that's an understatement. It's because it's not only shows. It's the fan fest, and then it's the interaction. I mean, just everything that you get in that whole weekend. I mean, we could start and go down the line. Would you want to start with the matches first, or do you want to?
No, I want to start with a thank you to Dave Wills. I hope he's still out there somewhere and has not disappeared after the events Friday night. But prior to the events of Friday night, he introduced me to Dr. Tom Pritchard, my childhood hero. And Tom took some time to talk to me about Continental Wrestling. And somebody interrupted him. He talked to them for a second. He turned back around and got to talk about Continental with me again. And that meant the world to me. Thank you, Dr. Tom. I've been a fan my entire life, and I was able to do it without marking out, but I'm tearing up right now relating my story about meeting Dr. Tom Pritchard, and I have Dave Wills to thank. Dave Wills, you're a wonderful individual. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you. Yeah. From the bottom of my little black heart, thank you.
Well, now let's if they don't know, people who don't know who Dave Wills is, over 3 million people have watched his video on YouTube, where he screams out, "It's still real to me, damn it." He's the original "It's still real to me, damn it" guy on YouTube. He was on Tosh.0, etc. So
a lot of fun to hang out with.
Oh, and he's a blast. He's a great guy. Obviously he was up there. We bumped into Mr. Hughes with him. Curtis Hughes. I mean, it was just the list of people that we talked to was just insane. I mean, the bar on Friday night is just an absolute, it was a blast, to bump. And, it was cool to meet new people. It was cool to talk to people we've talked to before. Silly things like, I'd met Al Snow out at the Rocky Mountain Pro Milestone, got to see him again, say hey to him. And then stuff like, I talked to Bruce Pritchard not long. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I did for a minute. Yeah, I didn't. We weren't best friends, but I got to interact with him.
I mean, great. Yeah, but he took the time. It was a quick little, hey, I'm a fan of the show, blah blah blah. But those guys go out of their way to be nice for the most part down there in the bar.
Everybody was super nice.
But it's cool though. We got to see friends that we've, like the Gymnasty Boys, White Mike and Timmy Lou were there. Seeing those guys in the bar.
We ran into
the Wrestling Nerdcast guy,
The Wrestling Nerdcast. We ran into the FOW Radio guys. We had a really good time. And everybody was there simply because they're either wrestlers or they love wrestling as a wrestling fan. And when you realize you're sitting at a table next to Johnny Mundo, Teo Valkyrie, Eli Drake, Cassius Ohno, and Ivelisse, and Rachel Ellering,
it's surreal.
You ride an elevator with Hornswoggle, and the coolest thing about riding an elevator with Hornswoggle is he didn't go out and buy a set of luggage and get the small piece. He actually got a proportional piece of luggage for a little person. It wasn't a little piece of luggage from a big person collection. He had a tailor-made piece of luggage scaled to him. With the wheels and the handle and everything, and it was perfectly sized little person luggage. And he rode the elevator with us and C.W. Anderson.
Yeah, and then the next morning we come down and you're in the elevator with John Morrison.
Yeah.
So, I
can't go on and on about how readily accessible all the people are.
Well, and the cool thing is because you can tell they're having fun, because that was one of the, granted, it was an elevator ride. We were on the 11th floor, so we had a second, but, John Morrison was like, man, it's fun. It's fun doing this. That's the thing, man. They really
can't wait to do it again next year.
Yeah. My wife, I was trying to explain to her, she was like, how surreal is Wrestlecade? I go, imagine you're having a conversation with Al Snow, you turn around, and then you're having a conversation with Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat.
That was, when I walked up to you and Charleston talking to Stevie Ray, I almost shit myself.
Yeah.
Because, he was just talking to y'all like y'all were a couple of guys, and we were all equal people that met at a bar somewhere. And, my stepson, he could not have gotten a better birthday present. And it wasn't just because of the fact I spent a little money here and there. He actually got to meet these people and meet the people. He's a huge Impact Lucha Underground mark, and he could not have been happier. It was a great birthday present, and I really think the people really have to thank the people at Wrestlecade for that. You really couldn't have done a better job, folks, putting on an event.
Like I said, I completely agree with you. I wanted to say shout out to our guys over, Tommy Rich,
yes.
Good to see him again while we were there. Obviously Harlow, we wanted to show her some love. Is she not like one of the sweetest people you've ever met?
She has to be one of the nicest people I've ever met. And she did something really good for us. She put us over, and, Zoe Sky, Angel Dust, I am such a huge mark for you. You did something super nice. You put us over with other talent, and you do not know how much that means to me when you're able to say, oh, they're cool. It's a very nice conversational interview. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
You helped me.
Yeah. Dementia, same thing.
Dementia. I'm really, really happy with all my interactions with people. So many people I met that I'm looking forward to working with. It's a great thing. I could not be happier about my experience this weekend. and just the overall climate of professional wrestling these days.
And I mean, it's, where else can I made a joke because my wife obviously doesn't know who everybody is. Obviously if you follow, the Tapped Out podcast on Twitter and on Facebook, I put up the picture I took with, what I consider to be the Horsemen, J.J. Dillon, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Barry Windham.
Well, that's
obviously
the
Rick
best
wasn't there.
incarnation in my opinion too.
Well, it'd been nice if Rick was there, but God only knows what it would have cost at that point to get.
Well, and Rick also needs to he needs to take some time to chill out and heal up.
He was freaking somewhere else, which we'll get to in a minute. But how about this? The funny story of that whole thing is I'm in line to get, this picture that I bought there. It had them all on it, get it autographed, which was cool in itself. But while I'm in line to I'm having a conversation with Shane Douglas, who's waiting to say hey to Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, that's kind of what I'm getting at to people is, this is kind of what we're talking about, how you're going to literally be just surrounded by some, the greatest names in wrestling that are there, history wise and things like that as well. And even, and then the upcoming people that are working their way up through the ranks as well. But I mean, what's really cool to us is we want to do a special shout out. We ran across John Kreger, who was, in line. To get in for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Fire on the Mountain show, a little panel that they had there again, Jesus, the names on this panel was insane. But it was just cool to run into some, fan of the show, somebody who listens.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I mean, I have said that the best thing I can get is have a listener say, I listen to your shows and I know what you're doing. And this guy was super nice to us. He talked about things. We interacted. And these people, these listeners are able to get behind us and support us by listening to these rants and ravings and what we have to say about wrestling and our coverage and our interviews. And they enjoy it. And this is the fact that you get that feeling that someone else is listening to you and validating you. It's so amazing. I want to thank all our listeners, and especially this gentleman in particular. Was super nice to us. Could not be happier.
Yep. But man, let's jump into some of the card stuff now that we're here. The Friday show was really good.
Yes.
Because by the way, they had a card Friday. They had wrestling during the Fan Fest. They were on Saturday. Saturday night, they had the big card that actually was carried on the Fight app. Which I tweeted it out. I was trying to go, hey, if you're missing this card, I even periscoped out the beginning of the first match and was like, if you want to catch the rest of it, get it on the Fight app. And I even put the link on there because, while we're here, the Fight app is available. You can get it on our Twitter page, you can get it on our Facebook page, you can get it on our website, all the above. And it carries, the best independent wrestling as well as other, bigger wrestling. Impact is on there, Ring of Honor's on there, Rocky Mountain Pro's on there. Obviously, they covered the Wrestlecade event. You could still buy it, by the way. It's still, the replay's on there if you didn't see it.
Here's the thing. There's a good chance you'll see me. It was amazing, dude. Seriously. Taya Valkyrie and Ivelisse had one of the most intense matches I've ever seen. And they wrestled right out into where we were sitting. Holy shit, dude. It was wonderful. It was great. Okay. It was a really, really, really intense. The two shows that actually recorded for Impact, the last two matches. I think it was just an absolutely wonderful card. You got to see a lot of your heroes. To me, the bright spot for the whole weekend was Jason Kincaid. Every time I see Jason Kincaid, he gets better. That guy is amazing.
He was in the the solid 4-way on Friday, and then he was in a 6-man tag on Saturday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Incredibly good. I got to see Jerry the King Lawler. I mean, seriously.
You're missing one of the biggest moments. I can't remember you haven't gotten here yet. we saw Jim Cornette in his last match he will ever manage.
Jim Cornette, his last managed match. And that, I mean, how do you get to see one of the all-time greatest managers manage his last match? I can't say enough. If you can get this card, don't just get it because go over to Fight Out and watch this. Not just because I'm in it, because, you know, when they rolled by me, I had to pull up the T-shirt and like, hey, look at me! It's logo. If you can look at my logo, I'd like to see what it looked like if you were shooting that with when they shot it with lights on the camera. But the whole card, top to bottom, was a lot of fun. You know, it was a serious, just a lot of fun. I enjoyed the whole thing from that match, but. My favorite show of the weekend was the Queens of Combat. I thought that was the shit right there. Hardcore women's wrestling. Couldn't say more about it. We got to see, God knows, 30, 40 matches over the course of the weekend.
That's what it seemed like it.
And there was nothing but great indie talent, TNA talent, Ring of Honor talent, just about every possible superstar you can get that wasn't on a WWE roster was there, and the wrestling was great. We met our icons from our childhood, all those NWA guys. I have so many signed 8x10s that I'm going to have to go get new picture frames for the wall behind me where I've been putting up all my signed 8x10s. Got to see Camilla. Camilla Kane is a huge talent you got to watch for in indie wrestling. She is going to take the women's wrestling world by storm. And we know her and we've had her on the show. I hang out. I talk to Leva Bates. I talked to Sue Young. I talked to Dust. Where was a bad point of the weekend? I didn't have one.
No, it's not. I mean, there really isn't. That's the crazy thing. I mean, there was the Battle Royal was cool on the Saturday card. Definitely check out. There's some good comedy in there.
Yeah. That Hornswoggle is the best.
Swoggle was one of the big highlights of that match. I won't lie. Those comedy bits in there were really, really funny. And I'll tell you, there's somebody that I was never, it wasn't that I wasn't a fan. I didn't watch Impact a lot. Everybody knows that I don't watch Impact a lot. But Caleb Conley / Blake Shelton, talk to him for a sec, but dude is super talented. I guess it's one of those, I guess you sleep on, I just hadn't watched him a lot, and I was just really amazed at how good he is.
Yes, and that six
man tag.
What do they call that? They call that trios match.
Yeah,
man, that guy was solid.
I agree, but I can't put the guy over enough. I'm kind of surprised he's not on, an NXT Ring of Honor roster or somewhere at this point. So that's. I mean, I know he's Impact guy, but man, I'm telling you, it's he's a top shelf guy. I mean, I can't recommend him enough for somewhere bigger. So, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way of where he's at, but yeah, man, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the Marriott, the Benton Convention Center, that it was just so convenient. Everything was so close together.
Yeah,
I mean,
did not have to get into the car the whole weekend.
Yeah, we walked everywhere. I mean, it wasn't even a block.
And I don't walk much at all.
It wasn't a block. It wasn't a block. I mean, we literally walked half a block from the hotel to the Benton Convention Center. So that kudos to, Tracy and those guys up at Wrestlecade. We, again, I know we've tooted their horn here for damn near 20 minutes about Wrestlecade. So, but hey, it was worth every penny I think that we spent. So I can't complain in the least.
Yeah, I have interacted with the wrestlers before, but when you realize you're starting to interact with your heroes, and people that you've always looked up to. It just, I mean, it's a different standard, man. These people were right there, accessible. I can't go on and on about how much fun I had. I would do this every time they have it from now on. And as soon as they announce the dates and the location next year, I will be buying tickets again.
Well, we loved it. We had a great time there. We actually had an offer, as crazy as it sounds. Shout outs to the guys. They know who they are. To actually possibly go down about 20 minutes down the street. We chose to stay, at the Wrestlecade event, for the Saturday show. But Starrcade was literally 25, 30 minutes down the street.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about that just a little bit. Lots of stuff, happened on it. The big thing coming out of it, to be honest with you, is WWE saying it was a huge success. They plan on doing it again next year. I'm curious to see if they do it on the same weekend as Wrestlecade. We'll see.
I mean, it's Thanksgiving weekend. I don't think it had anything to do here nor there.
Well, who says Wrestlecade has to be Thanksgiving weekend?
Yeah.
So
the thing is, Vince McMahon doesn't give two shits about anybody else or anything else going on. I honestly, after going to Wrestlecade and seeing the crowds, there were not casual wrestling fans there for the most part. Most wrestling fans were there were the hardcore, old school type wrestling fans.
Well, but hold on. That's the Starrcade crowd was geared for too. I mean, that's. Yeah. They brought in Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, Arn showed, made an appearance later that night. Ric Flair was there. The card itself was, the current roster guys, but that's what it was, built for, was kind of to draw traffic. And I'm the first one who said, trust me, I didn't think they weren't competing with WrestleCade, I don't think.
No.
But it, didn't help. I was the curiosity to see, but, well, and speaking of Starrcade, if you want to go in the archives, we did a show last week I thought was pretty funny. It did really well.
That was one of my favorite all-time shows because the research for doing those shows is almost more fun than the show itself. Because you're going back through and digging through the cards from the traditional old-school type pay-per-views and seeing the matches. I mean, when I picked my 10 matches, I didn't have Dusty Rhodes in a single match. But
I didn't either, and I'm the biggest. Dusty's my guy.
Every single match was result of what Dusty Rhodes did. So I mean,
right. But as I said, just check. We brought in Humphrey Jacobs. We got the rules. We've been getting.
He was such a great guy.
We've been getting some of the emails
was such a great guy.
With you guys sending your list. Go back and check that episode, and send us in your picks as well. But man, I wanted to get this. There's a big news story that I wanted to get your opinion on before when they get rolling here.
Yes.
Apparently Dave Meltzer made some comment about Ring of Honor not, they're not going to be drawing any 10,000 seat arenas anytime soon. And of course, Cody, never at a loss for words. He replied to that saying, "I'll take that bet." So,
Cody is such he's one of those figures where his wrestling is not even it's not even important anymore because he has become such a personality and such a draw on his own. I really think that he is getting to the point where he transcends the wrestling business. And I can't wait till this kid gets over like his dad or over like where he deserves to be.
Controversial card. He'll never be as over as his father.
Never be as over as his father.
And that's no disrespect to Cody. I'm going to say it, in my opinion, Cody Rhodes will never be as over as his father. Well, people can argue and try to tell me he already is, and you're full of shit.
No, you're full of shit right now if you tell me he already is. But this kid, I really, really think, has the potential to go there. He could do it. I honestly think he can do it.
Sure, anybody could, but it ain't happening. You can drive your car with your feet, but it's not supposed to be done.
well, physically I can't.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's my point. Cody's never going to be over as his father was.
Yeah, Cody is living in an age where his stuff is so much more exposed than his father. I think there's a really good chance he might be over more than Dusty.
Roman Reigns is proof, or not necessarily Roman Reigns, bad example. Everybody may know who you is. Everybody may know who you are. Doesn't mean you're over.
Yeah, but
everybody knew who Charles Manson was, but he wasn't over.
Cody is a dynamic personality. I think that guy has unlimited potential. He's good looking. He's got a good looking wife. He's got a great looking dog. I mean, everything about him is success. I think 100% that this guy, his potential is unlimited. I think he's going to be huge. And if you want to judge him on the Dusty scale, I think Cody has the ability to cross over. Cody is going to be doing television and movies. Cody is, I think he could be The Rock one day.
Yeah, so is The Miz, and guess what? He ain't as over as Dusty Rhodes either.
Well, no. I'm just saying, Cody has everything he needs to be super over. And the whole thing with this Meltzer challenge, it might be even a situation where this all might be a work.
I don't think it was. It was a challenge. I just think they were kind of talking about a state of where Ring of Honor is right now and how big and popular they are. And he just said they're doing great, but they're not ready. They're not going to be selling out 10,000 seat arenas anytime soon. I mean, that's it.
But he took it, and he's using it to find, and he's going to sell out at 10,000. I guarantee you, he will sell it out because people will mark Ed on this. They will mark, and it will go, and they'll do something here. I really think they're going to be able to make something out of this. I think they're going to be able to make it where this is going to draw just because people are like, fuck Dave Meltzer. You can't tell us, Meltzer, what we can do. And Cody is going to feed off that, and Cody is going to make this into something.
Okay. Well, first let's tell them what this is. This is that Cody and the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club are looking into self-financing a 10,000 seat arena, an event somehow, some way. Mm-hmm. They've talked to multiple venues. The front runners at the moment are Chicago, London, San Francisco, and Ontario, California. Okay, so that's blah, blah, blah. Those are the places they're looking into. They've even given it a tentative name. They're calling it All In, obviously, because of their monies, what they're putting in. And so that becomes the question is, can they fill 10,000 seats, for an event? And, they'll probably pull something out. They're going to go big, go home.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Even if you sell 10,000 seats to an event, it's a good accomplishment. But here's my same knock I put on NXT. Can you do it every night?
By doing this, you will increase your profile. By increasing your profile, you have a chance that you'll be able to do it every night.
Right.
You're never going to get anywhere unless you try. And I think this is a great opportunity for everyone involved.
Well, the biggest, they also have another thing that they haven't, I don't know if the details have been worked out, because as of reading today, it had not been. They haven't thought to the fact that they have exclusive U.S. deals. So if Ring of Honor doesn't get involved, it ain't going to happen. Because they can't compete in Ring of Honor. Those guys have Ring of Honor exclusive deals in the U.S. They can't wrestle anywhere without Ring of Honor's approval.
If Ring of Honor does not get involved in this, they're insane.
Well, it depends on what the cost is going to be. I mean, true.
I don't know. I mean, it just seems to me like Ring of Honor has an amazing opportunity here, and if they don't become a part of this and participate, they will be losing out.
Clearly, they probably will, but I think it's going to come down to cost and et cetera, because everybody knows Ring of Honor it's a budget conscious company, which is good. I mean, it's kept them, doing, good business like they have been. So that's a good thing. So, more of this is obviously to come. We don't know where this story's going at this point, what the card's going to be, all that good stuff, down the road.
I will tell you though, I will be watching. And if it's anywhere nearby, I'm going to buy a ticket, and I'm not even a Ring of Honor fan. But they've got me on this. They've made me pay attention. I think it's a great thing. When you can go out and recruit somebody like me who watches so much wrestling, gets tired of it, and you can make me excited about a show that's full of probably people I don't give two shits about, you've done something good. You've done something good. And I think these guys, they've got a lot of potential on this. I want to see this succeed.
Well, if you want to see Ring of Honor, that's kind of my next story. Obviously here in Atlanta, it is on my ATL. That's the channel. I don't know what the channel is on Comcast, DirecTV, all that stuff, but it's my ATL. But now Ring of Honor announced starting, again, behind the curtain, we're recording this late Tuesday. When I mean late Tuesday, early Wednesday.
It'll be into Wednesday before we get done with this because I'm ranting my ass off with these tonight.
Ring of Honor has announced that starting tonight, if you're listening Wednesday night, their shows will be airing on Watch Stadium. It's a 24/7 sports platform. It can be, there are some channels, by the way. It is also available over antenna, here in Atlanta. There's a list if you go to Sinclair Broadcasting what they're going to be. But it's also available, which is the cool part, on devices like Sling TV, Yahoo TV, Verizon Go 90, so there's going to be some other places you can see Ring of Honor on going forward. But we always tell you if you really want to get it, where do we tell them to get it, Myron?
Fight
TV.
App.
The Fight TV app. You can get it it airs there Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right before Raw. So you can catch all your wrestling in one night, because God knows you need to watch another hour of wrestling right before Raw. Because you're not watching the third hour anyway, so you're turning it off. So catch the 7 o'clock hour, catch the Ring of Honor.
I mean, it's great that we're in a position where we can pick and choose what we want to watch. And this has not happened since, we were talking about this, the Monday Night Wars, where you could switch back and forth and pick the match you wanted to see. And we're in a position now where you can just buy your wrestling a la carte, and I'm going to watch this, and I'm not going to watch that. If you don't want to watch WWE, you still have tons and tons and tons of wrestling available, even if you don't watch WWE. It's a great time. Speaking of
non-WWE talent, this is completely off. It's not even on my notes. I just read this like literally 10 minutes before. Wrestle Kingdom 12, where Jericho's wrestling Omega, apparently the tickets are just flying out. They said something like there was a number like the tickets are pre-selling at 180% faster than last year's. Gee, is Jericho a draw, you think? But like they were almost on pace to sell 20,000 tickets in the Tokyo Dome already. Last year's event drew like 26 or 29,000, something like that.
And that's before the event ever happens.
I mean, they're
advanced.
Yeah,
they're going to sell out advance.
Well, the big question they're asking is there a possibility that they freaking sell out the Tokyo Dome? That would be freaking awesome to see.
I don't know what the capacity is in the Tokyo Dome.
I'd give two shits, but I'm just saying that would still be cool.
And is the capacity relative to the amount of stars Dave Meltzer gives it?
Yes, the more fans you put in the building, it gets another quarter star, so you can get 9 quarter stars. Isn't that what Tony Schiavone calls?
9 quarter stars.
Yeah,
is one of the best rankings I think you can get, and I like to give things 9 quarter stars.
But yeah, just watching it though. But anyway, speaking of things, I was going to segue coolly. I was, really nice from our last topic into this one, but I completely threw the New Japan shit in there and it completely threw it off. So watching TV, we're big comic book guys. Everybody knows it at this point. I'm a big Flash. I'm a big, Legends of Tomorrow, Gotham. I know you watch Arrow, which is crazy that I've never watched Arrow. Well,
yeah, you're missing out on that, but I can understand not wanting. As big you are into Green Lantern and Green Arrow, not doing it unless you can get it 100%. I get that. So,
well, the big news coming out this week. Bill Goldberg is going to be on The Flash for a couple episodes. It's not one, it's a couple. So the joke flying around the, Twitterverse was clearly the guys from the Arrowverse, which is what it's called. All the shows kind of intertwine that and Supergirl and, but it's called the Arrowverse. They clearly have to be wrestling fans because they've had Edge on as a villain on The Flash. Cody was a villain on Arrow. Now Goldberg's going to be on, a couple episodes of The Flash. We're sitting here before we went on the air. We're trying to figure out who the heck he's going to be. I got nothing. I got nothing.
I love those shows. I can't get enough of them. I am so far behind on them. It's insane, but it's amazing to see your wrestling people on a cartoon show, not cartoon, but a comic book show that you love, and so all your worlds are colliding. I mean, it's not like, George, your worlds aren't too close together, but you're seeing everything you like in one place. Love it.
Yeah. Comic books, wrestling. My wife always asks me, the running joke around our house is, do you own any other shirt that's not a comic book or not about wrestling?
Oh, and I hear they've got a shop on the WE network, a sale on the WE network, also, because comic book shirt, I'm wearing a Star Lab shirt now. I've got wrestling shirts. And here, I'm going to say something, Nick. I'm going to say something that's going to sound bizarre. But sometimes when we're repping our podcast shirts, it's like, I really would like to wear one of my wrestling shirts. And that sounds silly, but it's like I could have had on like a Bruce Pritchard shirt at the show this weekend, or a Duke Dude or something like that, but we're wearing our wrestling shirts. Our podcast shirts. It is great to rep the podcast, but I just love my wrestling shirts.
Maybe we'll have to rotate. Maybe we'll start rotating. One of us wears the shirt, and one of us gets to wear it, and then the next show we rotate around to the other. But by the way, if somebody's asking, ProWrestlingTees.com, Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. Google
you got
it.
A new shirt on there.
We've got both shirts on there. The original one's just kind of the name, and then of course the new. I tapped that shirt, which went really over. With with Harlow, and Dementia loved it, and
they all thought that was funny. Yes.
White Mike was like, "You gotta get me one of those shirts," and I'm like, "Dude, if you're gonna wear it as much as you wear our other shirts, absolutely, we'll send you a shirt." But definitely,
thank you, Mike. When we make it big, we'll make sure we have you an advertising contract in there somewhere, because you have been our number one.
So again, make sure you can find it over at Twitter, at Facebook. ProWrestlingTees.com. The link's all over the place. It's on our website as well. Click on there, go straight there, get the new shirt. That's awesome. It helps support the show. Last little bit of non-WWE stuff before we kind of hit the gambit. This falls under that is it shoot or is it work, kind of topic. Austin Aries tagged with Sean Waltman, X-Pac, in Brisbane, Australia this week. Before leaving the ring, he did get the mic and said it was one of his bucket list items, if you will, was to team with Sean Waltman, X-Pac. So he wanted to thank him for doing that. But then went on a rant of he has always been known as an asshole and someone who speaks the truth. And he was going to shoot with the truth. Not those exact words, I'm paraphrasing. Basically said there's all those men and women in that locker room, we're busting their ass and they do their best. They do their work in that ring. And to be bluntly honest, basically he said that ring was a fucking disgrace, and he threw the mic down and walked off.
Austin Aries, honestly, I like this guy a huge amount. And it may be a work, it may be a shoot, but whatever he is, I respect his opinion.
Well, the story goes there, I don't know if you know that, you remember obviously he had the broken orbital bone in his face.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there was a cut on that spot on his face, and it came from that ring.
Ow.
So he wasn't real happy about that. I think there was something about the steel framing or something maybe, but X-Pac did his best to cover it up. He got the crowd to give him the suck it chant, we call it before he left. So all went well overall, but it was just kind of a funny thing. Austin Aries in social media lately, he's had that run in with that fan, which by the way, if you're the fan, and I'm going to speak from experience, by the way, here. If somebody's eating, if somebody's with someone, like you can clearly tell that they're with their families or something like that, leave them alone. They have a right to a private life.
Yeah.
There were people I specifically did not walk over to at Wrestlecade because they were eating they were eating dinner or they were with family or something like that. It's just like, that's just not the time or the place. And guess what? Of all the places that it was to be the place, that's it. Yeah. It's just a respect thing. That's all I'm going to say. So give them that respect, please.
Yeah, I mean, these people entertain you, but they don't owe you their entire lives where they can't have a meal in private or they can't talk to people that they know. Just respect these people. And I will tell you one thing I have learned from being respectful around wrestlers and being nice to them. You'll get a lot more from them if you're cool. Just be cool and they will reward you. So I can't explain enough that these are people out there that while they're approachable, they're still human beings and they deserve to have a meal or to talk to their friends without interruption. So let them have a slot. These people are great. They're great guys. Most of the people that you deal with and you will meet, if you don't fuck with them, will be super cool to you. So just be reasonable. Don't do anything to a wrestler that you wouldn't want done to your family if you were out to dinner. It's very simple.
Well, on that note, let's jump into the WWE stuff. My first bit of note, it's a little note here, is that, we talked about it last week that they were going to reduce the number of pay-per-views next year. They're going to go down from 14 from 16. Raw will have 5, SmackDown will have 4, and there will be 5 co-branded shows instead of 4. Basically, it's come out that basically Meltzer saying that it's a cost-cutting issue. There was really no bump in subscriptions for having the extra pay-per-views, the two a month. But they did have the added expense of running the live event. So therefore, shaving the 2 out make perfect sense. And that's kind of, the reason why. Of course, Money in the Bank's going to be the new co-branded show off of the Big Four.
I think that's good. That's a good one to add to it.
Sure. I mean, I'm assuming at this point there's no confirmation, but my question to you is this: if we get into Money in the Bank and there's a women's one and there's a Raw one and there's a SmackDown one, you have 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches.
And that's going to be insane. That's going to be great.
Is it too much is the question.
It could actually be 4 because it was a SmackDown pay-per-view this time and the women's Money in the Bank was a SmackDown. No, 4 matches like that would fill a card with an incredible amount of talent. I would really be happy to see that.
I don't know, man. That might just be too much. Might be too many ladder matches. Because are you desensitized by you hit the last one? It's kind of like Hell in the Cell when we had 3. When we got to the last one, we were kind of like, you're like, damn. I mean, that's a lot of Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, but I think it would be good. I think it would get people to have more. You get more feeling in these matches, these big matches like that, where there's a lot on the line. You pay attention to it. I think it would be great for business.
Well, I mean, I think it could be too much, but we'll see. But speaking, hey, adding another match to a pay-per-view. Here we go. The Sun, which is one of the newspapers over in the UK, they're reporting that the women's, the big thing why everybody's asking a lot of things about the women coming up from, this influx of women. Well, the rumor is now that the Royal Rumble may have a women's Rumble match included. Mm-hmm. By your philosophy there, that's another good thing. I mean, because that's going to be another, big. I agree with you on this one, though. By the way, I've always thought there should be a women's. Well,
they've got to do more with these women if they're going to bring in all these people and they're going to have all these wrestlers on there. Only thing they're doing is, now this is prior to the last round of call-ups. The only thing they've been doing is 5-woman, 6-woman matches, fatal 4-ways, all that other stuff. It's just not. They're wasting it. So let's give them something serious. Let's utilize these because there's some amazing talent. I think there's a lot more to be done with them than what they've got right now.
Well, I mean, I think if you put them in some heated one-on-one feuds, that would help. But, I mean, right now you have 11 women on Raw, 10 women on SmackDown. Obviously with 2 champions, that puts you, just one short. So if you have, basically, every Rumble has a surprise entrance or whatever. Maybe it's either a legend they bring in, or maybe it's, Ember Moon from NXT or something, it's just something to fill out 20. And so you'll have 20 women versus 30 men, which makes sense.
Hey, these 2 new factions, are they heel factions or face factions?
Well, I'm going to go clearly that I think they're heels, and that let's go ahead and we'll bundle the Raw and the SmackDown together on this one subject. When we get into these new stables they've brought up. But let's go ahead and throw it. It's funny. The other day I almost called them somebody asked me and I said, Suicide Squad? The Riot Squad on SmackDown and Absolution on Raw, which is Paige's stable.
I like the way they explained that with Paige, that she did not feel like she was getting enough credit for the Women's Revolution, and they were going to take it, and those other people stood by her and believed that. I really think it was good,
Yeah, they put a little thought in there. There was a little bit of at least the why they're that way. So that did make a little more sense.
Because we haven't got much of an explanation about the Riot Squad yet.
No, they're just there and they've attacked, and or what that's basically the way it is. It's kind of like a chaos thing. Whereas with like you said, with Absolution, like they had their match with Mickey, Bayley, and Sasha. They attack Mickey, they attack Bayley, knock them out.
Yeah.
And then they surround Sasha and give her the "you're either with us or you're against us." She obviously chose the poor path, and then she got the beat down, from them as well. So, so far I do like that stable.
And what's the thing with Asuka? They surrounded her and then let her slide out.
That we'll see. We'll see if maybe that was fear on their part, because they've built Asuka to such that part we'll just have to see. I mean, just, that's going to be the running story, I think. But
here's what you've done, WWE. You made me excited about getting to see your shows Monday and Tuesday nights for the first time in a long time, because I wanted to see what these new women factions were going to do. I can't go on and on about how much they've done with this, where they've made it exciting again for me. I think it's great. If you can make a hard mark like me want to see and look forward to seeing your program, you've succeeded. Kudos.
Well, let's talk about what everybody marked out on Monday. And I'm probably going to get yelled at for this one. Bray Wyatt defeats Matt Hardy, and one of the crazy things is they kept pointing out through the match about his bad luck that he's been having. He's on a bad luck streak since Jeff went out. He's basically putting poor Matt down. And then, of course, once he loses to Bray Wyatt, everybody marks out when he's sitting in the corner and he's just frustrated and he starts doing the shaky thing, and then he screams delete and starts throwing the arm. Everybody goes crazy. Delete.
And we get Reby, and we get Senor Benjamin coming out on Twitter posting these tweets that make you think about stuff.
Well, and if you haven't checked, next time you look, go check out Matt Hardy's Twitter handle. It's Woken Matt Hardy.
Yep.
He's putting, talking about his condition or whatever the hell it was called at the time.
Does he have a premonition?
But here's my thing. Here goes my unpopular opinion. I think it's probably, I'm not saying it's too late. WWE is going to have to do a hell of a job explaining this to the casual fan. I'm not knocking Impact, because everybody knows I wish all of the companies well, so don't take it this way. But Impact, draws on any given week 250,000 people. Raw draws on a bad night 2.7, 2.8 million people.
Yeah, those are typically people that are not as hardcore wrestling fans as the Impact. I mean, because if you look and find Impact,
You put some effort into it.
Yeah, because it's not just right there where you can grab it. It's not in the same place.
Yeah, so
in prime time.
The point I'm trying to get at is everybody, I know even you pointed out to me, oh, well, the crowd, it popped pretty good for his delete. I'm like, there's still at minimum 2.5 million people, give or take, who probably, if that 2.5 million, what percentage of those people don't even know what the hell broken Matt Hardy is?
Let Matt have creative control over this, and everyone will be on board. You have to let him have creative on this, because this is something he thought up himself. It's not something that was written by committee. This is entirely all in his brain, and it will go over and do huge business. You just gotta let him have some creative on this, because this guy is a genius. They will, between this and the women, they will make this program super exciting again. The problem with it is, are they going to bury Bray Wyatt again? This is another situation where Bray Wyatt is going to get absolutely just stuck.
Doesn't he have to?
Why do we have to continue to bury this guy? Every single storyline he gets involved in is a dead end for him. His brother right now is doing better than him, and he is playing a harmonica next to Elias Sampson. Okay? He has got a better gig. Bo Dallas has a better gig than him right now, playing a harmonica with a guy in a neck brace and that Elias Sampson. Think about it.
Well, Elias didn't bear too well.
More TV time.
Well, that's because he's standing next to The Miz. Absolutely, yeah.
It doesn't matter, but he's still getting out there more than his brother. His brother gets buried. His brother is given these shitty storylines. Everybody's dead. You're all dead. Everybody's dead. What the fuck does that mean?
He's going to wake up. He's going to be woken, Matt Hardy.
Well, what's it got to do with Bray? Why is Bray going to have to absolutely just blow this? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm very tired of seeing Bray Wyatt on this one-way path to obscurity. But that's me.
Well,
where do you see it going?
I don't. That's my problem. I don't know that the broken thing can work in WWE. That's just my opinion. I think maybe it's been too long, and then I don't know that enough people in the WWE, the casual fan, knows, what it is, who it is, what it is.
But you don't have to know what it is if you allow him to introduce this.
Well, that's my point. If it's not explained right, and I hate to break anybody's heart, Matt Hardy ain't getting creative control over anything in that company. Vince is the final writer, and we all know it. So Vince and that writing crew are going to try to explain it, and I don't know that that's going to work. And I don't mean to be negative.
You think they'll botch it?
Did they botch the Wyatt family? And Jesus Christ, that looked about as easy as money as you could get.
Well, thank you. You have absolutely managed to crush my hopes and dreams for Matt Hardy.
I mean, I hope I'm completely wrong. I mean, I really do. Especially when Jeff comes back, you'll get Brother Nero, you get the whole thing, get the whole gang back together and kind of roll with it. Bray can bring in new, family members, whatever the hell you want to say. That's just my opinion. But, but if you want to talk about obscurity, let's talk about, okay, let's first start. It starts off because I want to get to Finn Balor. Kane wrestles Jason Jordan, which leads to, Finn coming down. And Finn wrestles Kane, who basically, is getting beat. And then basically Braun, Strowman has to come down to save Finn. So then we have the big brawl with Kane and, Braun's, by the way, when Braun is a beast, is he a beast or what? I mean, he demolished Kane.
Yeah, this guy is the future of the company. If you could buy stock in wrestlers, I would suggest that you take all your money out of every other account and put it into Braun Strowman stocks and mutual funds, because this guy, he's the guy. He's getting pushed hard. He has the potential to surpass Roman Reigns as the guy. And you think about all this time they spent pushing Roman Reigns as the guy. This guy has a legitimate chance of taking over all that. You know, he legitimately could be the guy.
I think he already is. That's the difference. I think he's already there. So, I mean, that's me personally. Braun is the guy to keep an eye out for. I mean, I know everybody says Roman's the guy. By the way, Roman defeats Elias tonight and then is quickly, choked the hell out by Samoa Joe going up the ramp afterwards.
Yeah, Samoa choked everybody out. I mean, he got Titus O'Neil. He got that guy that looks like Titus O'Neil, but he's shorter and he follows him around. Oh, Apollo Crews. Yeah, that's the name I'm looking for. So, I mean, Joe is becoming a big deal, and he's becoming a legitimate contender for the title. They're booking him where he's going to be a big contender, because they need somebody to go up against Braun that's convincing. This is good for business. Very good for business.
So now we've got all this going on. That's pretty much all I have on Raw. Do you have any other notes on Raw before we move over to SmackDown and wind this thing down?
Honestly, I'm sitting here looking at my notes, and I had 10,000 more notes about Raw than it was SmackDown, but we've already covered it all.
Which is crazy.
SmackDown had 3 big things, and the one I'm most excited about is Mojo snapping off on Zack Ryder after their loss, and Mojo could possibly being booked as a heel in the future. I never saw that coming. I thought Zack Ryder would be the heel and Mojo would be he'd be the babyface that comes out of this. But a heel Mojo is something I did not expect, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. I think that's great. I think it's terrific.
I agree with you 100%. I thought the look, the facial expressions afterwards.
Yeah,
I was sold on him as a heel. The whole landscape has changed.
Mojo sold that. I mean, he sold it 100%.
And all it took was an ass whooping, from the Bludgeon Brothers apparently. So, and now he's woken up. But speaking of ass whoopings, I mean, like I said, I'm like you. I had 4 notes, but we've already covered the women, so it dropped me to 3. The other big note for me was, what the hell are we getting? AJ defeats the Singh brothers, even though he took a beating before the match. He still defeats them in a handicap match, and just out of sheer frustration and anger, Jinder destroys the Singh brothers after the match. So, where do we go after this?
I don't know. Are they no longer necessary? Or are they going to be, one of these things where they come back and say, oh yes, Ginger, we're sorry we failed you, and we'll never fail you again? Do you get a storyline there? Nothing that has happened since Jinder Mahal has been in power has made sense to me. I know it was a great financial decision for them. I can't predict this. I'm out of the loop on this one. I don't know where it's going.
I'm hoping that, I don't want him to be out of a job, but maybe there'll just be a way from him. You know what I mean?
Well, they're made men now. They should roll those guys back to NXT and make them a tag team. They're made. Why just shuffle them off? They'd never be as good on the main roster as they would be on NXT right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. So hopefully that's, but I mean, hey, you can never have too many tag teams.
No.
They could have a tag team. They could be a tag team on SmackDown, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and the Colones are back now, apparently.
Well, they
came back at Starrcade.
We lost the Ascension.
What the hell was that shit?
The Fashion Files, sawed. So if we lost the Ascension tonight, then maybe the Singh brothers can replace them in the tag team scene. So that's just what I was thinking.
How can you blow up a tag team or whatever the fuck happened to those guys?
It was poison gas. It was poison gas.
Well, you know what?
You haven't seen any of the Saw movies, Myron?
I've been on a road trip with you. I don't think I'm susceptible to poison gas anymore. Okay. It was Fart City between me and Nick riding around eating road food. My poor son was there with us, sleeping in the corner under a table and trying not to smell the farts. Poor guy. It was wild. You know, it was a lot. Man, thinking about that, let's talk about that Burger Batch place. That was a really cool little place to eat, right there in Winston-Salem. They didn't have beers that I recognize, which is not my wheelhouse, but I got a chicken sandwich. It was terrific. The French fries were terrific. Pretty good deal there. If you're ever down in Winston-Salem, check that place out.
The Burger Batch.
If you like craft beers, go over to the craft place next door. I'm not a fan. Really cool place. I'm
just really happy when a burger place can cook my burger the way I want it.
Yeah, and they hit that dead on, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a medium rare. It came out medium rare. I'm like, amen. I'm used to going
to...
Well, here's the thing, because I go into somewhere like a Chili's, hey, Chili's, we are looking for sponsorships. But if I go into a Chili's most of the time, and they ask me at this point, I'll order medium well, medium rare, medium whatever. It's just well done every time. So basically now, when I go into those places, and they go, how do you want your burger cooked? I go, surprise me. I mean, however the cook cooks it tonight, I guess is the way I'm getting it anyway. Yeah. So I'd rather just not be mad. Just tell them to send them out. Send it out and I'll eat it.
And they hit it dead on. And it's really hard to get a burger medium rare without going past it. And I cook a lot of cheeseburgers. And
you're a big well done guy.
No, not burgers. Burgers, I like a medium to a medium well. Because you never know what you're getting as far as the meat. But they got that perfect. I was in admiration how they were able to deliver you a burger that is exactly like what you wanted it. Because when I go out in restaurants, I don't even order. I just order them well done because I'm always scared that they're going to just burn the fuck out of it anyway, or they've got bad meat. So go ahead. Why not? Yeah. They delivered a perfect burger, and that's great.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
So here's the funny thing: of all the other places we couldn't remember the name of the Burger Batch right there on Fifth Street. Yeah, we knew that one
exactly.
And of all things, we had to hit PBR because that was the only beer they had that we recognized, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I'm not good with beers. You have to explain to me.
Right. It's got a titch of honey or something. You're like, no, just bring me the PBR in a can and I'm good to go. So
it's cold. We need the beer cold.
Exactly. But man, hey, I wanted to throw a conspiracy theory out before we walked out of here because here was one of the notes that I had. We opened SmackDown with Daniel Bryan. He comes out and talks to Shane and they're having their little conversation. Shane he's agreeing, but he has this look of like he's not completely on board.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something not right in Denmark there from the look on Shane.
Yeah, it's making it where that Shane is selling that Daniel Bryan might be in some kind of legitimate trouble.
Yeah. And so here's my thing. And before we get to it, cause everybody's going to go like, oh, you're wrong. I know I'm wrong. I'm just saying, but wouldn't this be cool?
Mm-hmm.
That then throughout SmackDown, they also show the 2014, the Yes movement. All of the guys, the fans with the T-shirts invade the ring and basically occupy, Daniel Bryan, whatever the hell they called it. I think it was the Yes movement. And, Stephanie and Triple H come out and they're angry and Stephanie's trying to come down and Triple H stops her. Then Triple H tries to storm the ring, but Mercury, who we saw WrestleCade, by the way, which was funny. But Mercury and I think Noble stop him and they're holding him back and whatever. And I'm sitting there in my head going, now I know we've all heard the rumors that Triple H wants The Rock. I get that. And trust me, I think that's the match we all want anyway.
Mm.
But if Rock ain't coming back, and here's the kicker, if Daniel Bryan can get cleared, what if that's the match we're building to? Is that maybe it's the whole McMahon family at some point turns on Daniel Bryan, and it's back to Daniel Bryan versus them. Because if you, like we talked about this all before we recorded, if anybody you would trust with Daniel Bryan in the ring, is it not Triple H?
It would have to be Triple H, because Triple H is the consummate professional. He's been doing this stuff forever. He's solid. He can do, I I can't go on enough about how much I admire Triple H and everything going on with him. He's always been there. He's had some of the best matches I've ever seen. So I'm going to go with that's the best decision for business.
Between you and Bruce Pritchard, who would leave the hickey on his ass first?
Well, the thing is, I admire him, but he's never going to... he's clearly in the Jim McDougall camp, not in the Myron camp. So I'll never be able to get full attention from him. But you can't go on about the guy. The guy is the best. The guy is the little guy who eventually worked himself into the most powerful wrestling company in the world and a position of power in that company. You just can't say enough about the guy. He's amazing. And he ain't going to hurt him. If there's a problem with Daniel Bryan, he's safe. He's safe with Triple H.
That's what I hope the plan is. If they're not going to get The Rock, that would be a cool match. But, obviously we know that is only if, and there's a big if, Daniel Bryan could be cleared. So do you got any other notes, man? I'm going to wrap up here.
Yeah, I got a couple quick notes that I forgot to cover earlier. Congratulations are in order for Nia Jax and her courage to just absolutely stand up to the body shamers. And some of these people may have been in the WWE locker room, but she is a positive influence. She is an amazing person, and you can't minimize the positive influence she's having on girls right now. She's proud of who she is. She's a healthy big woman, and she's a beautiful woman, just an absolutely beautiful woman, and she's a great role model for women everywhere, in my opinion. Thank you, Nia Jax. Also, Kamala is off life support and breathing on his own. Thank you, Kamala. I think it's great. The final thing I've got is, what the hell is Sexy Star up to? After the shoot she did on Rosemary, where she went out and nearly broke her arm off, she took a stiff kick in a match and then freaked out and shot on the poor girl she was wrestling. Is she not the most toxic female wrestler in the world right now? Why did anybody book her in the first place? But now, if anyone ever books her again, they're insane. There's nothing to be gained from booking this person, except maybe hurting somebody.
Well, it's the name, especially indie bookers will book her just to draw the attention. That's that's the story there. But yeah, man, that's everything I've got. We're going to go home here, but before we go home, I want to remind everybody we're in the holiday season. Everybody's buying all their presents. So what we always tell everybody, kind of what we do here at our house, Amazon's our friend. We are Amazon Prime members. We order pretty much all of our gifts. No, I'm just kidding. We don't. I wish we did, but I can't have my wife. She hit the Black Friday shopping, obviously. But I always tell you, man, it's real simple. If you're going to do your Amazon Christmas shopping, you're going to get all those presents. You're going to load up. Go in and replace your Amazon.com link with our affiliate link. It's on our webpage. It's we were putting it up on our Twitter page, our Facebook page. But the easiest place to get it is go to our website, just copy it, boom, take that affiliate link, and then replace your old Amazon.com link. Do all your shopping through there. Help support the show. If you're listening to this, obviously you've listened to the whole show. You want to help support the show, keep all these shows free. It would be awesome. They kick a little referral fee our way. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Hell, if you're not a Prime member, go in through our link and sign up to be a Prime member. It's the same thing. We get a little bit of kicker there as well.
Hey, y'all really help us out. We appreciate it when somebody goes in and does this, because it means you care enough about what we're doing to help support it, and thank you. And it's not hard. You just use this Amazon link that you find on our page, www.tappedoutpod.com, and you just go through there, you purchase your stuff, doesn't cost you anything, and they just slide us a little bit on the back end. Best deal in the world. I buy all my Amazon stuff through our link because I'm getting a little bit on the back end, even for my own money. I think it's great. It's just great. You do not have to spend any money to support your favorite podcast, and you're going to buy stuff off Amazon anyway. Go ahead. Thank you.
And if you're looking for some cool other presents outside, don't forget we've already given you the go to ProWrestlingTees.com, pick out a Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast shirt. Mm-hmm. We've got a couple shirts there. You can send them directly to the person as well, obviously. Hey, put in the note if you want us to call them, we'll call them. We can do that too.
Yeah.
I know that's Bruce and Tony's gig, but hey, put it in and we'll give them a call. Absolutely. Send us an email.
I'll call you a slap dick.
Yeah, whatever.
Doot. Or I'll Tommy Young. Actually, did you see that picture of me? Look at my Facebook and Twitter, folks. Guess who I'm with? The Barbarian. He goes, "Oh, I signed your picture. Easy way, hard way. Your choice." So I gave him $20, and
so you got it the easy way.
You come over here, take a picture with me, fat boy.
Well, man, that kind of we've covered Wrestlecade, we covered all the other stuff, we've covered Raw, we covered SmackDown, big busy packed show. But like I said, it's that holiday season, man. We're getting into our groove for the holidays. But man, that's all we got, man. What time is it?
It's time to tap out.